my predictions for Saturday's AEW Revolution pay-per-view, which I have high hopes for. I will not be watching live, unfortunately. I'll be at an Evolve show in New York City, actually. So I will not be able to watch the show live until probably Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, unfortunately. I'm going to stay off all social media, and I'm pissed because this show looks awesome. I have not been this excited for a pay-per-view in a while, not counting like takeovers and stuff. And this has the potential to be hands down their best pay-per-view yet. So, starting from the bottom, we'll work our way up to the main event, starting at SCU versus the Dark Order. Representing SCU, obviously being Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. This should be a good match. I'm loving the Dark Order stuff. I've said this before, but the Dark Order has really grown on me. With the whole Exalted One thing, they've done a great job of teasing that. There's a lot of people who the Exalted One could be. It could be exactly who they've teased it to be, that being Christopher Daniels. I feel like that's way too obvious. Maybe that's their backup plan if the whole Matt Hardy thing falls through, but Matt Hardy would seem to make the most sense to be the one to be revealed as the Exalted One. Not on this show, because his contract does not expire until Monday, reportedly. I think Matt Hardy has even said that, actually. But I would expect him to be on next week's show, the post-pay-per-view episode of Dynamite. That would be a hell of a reveal. To go from being on Raw within, to an AEW pay-per-view within literally weeks would be pretty fucking cool. But I do expect Dark Order to win here. Why bother, why ruin their momentum, And I would not reveal the Exalted One here. They very well may, but it's on the pre-show, so why would you do it here? Pac versus Orange Cassidy. This will be very interesting. Pac obviously coming off the loss to Kenny Omega on Wednesday's Dynamite. No way he loses here, but I'm very excited to see what Orange Cassidy will do in his singles match debut. For the AEW Women's Championship, Nyla Rose versus Kris Statlander. Definitely random. I don't know why they're giving this away now and not like Nyla Rose versus Rio the rematch or Nyla Rose versus Shida or something like that. Maybe they could build up Shida as the ultimate person to beat Nyla, which would be pretty cool. Shida's great. But this should be interesting. Nyla Rose literally just won the belt. Way too soon to take the belt off of her. So I have Nyla Rose going over. By the way, I've never been the biggest Nyla Rose fan as a wrestler, but she spoke in Chris Jericho's podcast last week, and it was really, really good. So if you're not sold on Nyla, you don't care about Nyla, blah, 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 definitely check out the podcast. I'm not saying that you need to, she's going to win you over in the ring or anything like that. I'm not a big fan of her in-ring abilities, but as a person, she won me over with that podcast. So check that out when you get an opportunity, when you get a chance. Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara. Darby Allin's got to win. Like, he's the hot hand right now. People are reacting huge to him. He's really getting over, like, as their version of Jeff Hardy from 10, 15 years ago. They got to go all in on him, no pun intended, because his last name is, Darby Allin. It's Allen, and his name literally spells all in. Anyway, dumb jokes aside, I got Darby Allin going over there. Jake Hager versus Dustin Rhodes. I mean, Hager's got to win. This is his AEW in-ring debut. He's a legitimate undefeated MMA fighter. I mean, I know he suffered a DQ win here or there, but overall, I don't think he's been, tapped out yet or lost a match by decision or whatever, which is pretty, when I say a match, I meant fight. That's pretty impressive. So he's got to win here. He should not be losing to a 50-year-old Dustin Rhodes. And now we get to the territory where these matches could go either way. First, for the tag team titles, Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page versus the Young Bucks. This should be fucking awesome. I just get the feeling that they won't change the titles yet. I know that's not a bold opinion. I've heard a lot of people say that, but I got to concur. I do not see the championships changing hands here. I have the Young Bucks going over. I'm sorry, Adam Page and Omega going over, and the Young Bucks losing to continue the feud. And maybe they do the title change on TV, but I think either way we are headed for an Omega Page one-on-one match, maybe with Page as the heel at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view in 3 months. So I wouldn't take the belts off of them just yet. I mean, they could and they wouldn't complain. I just don't feel it's that time yet. So I have Omega and Page going over. Maybe via nefarious means. Like Page cheats to win and Omega doesn't see it. That's how I see this going down. Cody versus MJF. Cody has got to lose here. I don't know why he's still being ranked in the power rankings if he can't challenge for the World Championship anymore per the stipulation of his match with Jericho back at Full Gear. That's a little wonky to me. But there's no reason that he should be winning this. They blew up that Shawn Spears feud way too quickly back at the All In show. Not All In, All Out, back in August. This should not be a repeat of that. They can drag this out. They can drag out Cody getting his big win over MJF. He has one of the better win-loss records in the entire company. so he should not be losing here anyway. I have MJF winning, again, probably via nefarious means. And then the main event, probably the most unpredictable match of the show, Jon Moxley taking on Chris Jericho for the AEW World Championship. Man, this is fucking tough because I thought Jericho would retain. After seeing what they did on Wednesday, I had the feeling that Moxley's going to win. At the same time, though, I feel like there's more they can do, with Jericho as the world champion. Whether it be with Luchasaurus, or doing a rematch with Jungle Boy, a rematch with Omega, Page even. I'm going to say Jericho. For some reason, I feel like Jericho is going to retain. It would be cool if Moxley won. I do think there's a very good chance he wins here. He is favored in the odds and whatnot. But, yeah, I just think he loses. He stays in chase mode for a little longer. I don't know if they do a rematch in the next pay-per-view. But I don't know. I feel like there's more to explore there with Jericho as the world champion, and he's been killing it in that role. Moxley would get a big reaction if he won in Chicago. But let's say Jon Moxley wins. What do you do with him from the get-go? They don't really have many top heels in AEW that aren't, the inner circle, and he's already beaten the entire inner circle. So, outside of a rematch with Jericho, what can you really do with Moxley? Well, there's the rematch with Omega, but he's tied up right now with Adam Page and their tag team. So I don't see that happening. Cody, maybe, but that's a babyface versus babyface. Maybe MJF, maybe Pac. That's a possibility. But what would earn Pac a title shot coming off his loss to Kenny Omega on Dynamite? I do not know. Jake Hager? Maybe. I don't really feel any excitement over Dean Ambrose versus Jack Swagger, to be honest with you. I think Jon Moxley versus Jericho is a much bigger program. But yeah, I'm going to say Jericho retains. I feel like for whatever reason, they'll have him go over. Moxley remains in chase mode. And Jericho will probably drop the title, if I had to guess, at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view on the 1-year anniversary of his big win over Omega. Maybe there is where he loses it to, maybe not Omega, because like I said, I have Omega facing Adam Page at that pay-per-view. But maybe he defends against, not Luchasaurus, but Darby Allin in a rematch from that episode of Dynamite in Philly back in October. I think that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? So yeah, those are my predictions for AEW Revolution on Saturday night on the BR Live app, Fight TV, pay-per-view, whatever. Looks like a great show on pay-per-view. I'm so bummed I will not be watching live. But again, I will be avoiding all spoilers at all costs. But this looks like a very strong show on pay-per-view, and honestly, their strongest show to date, even over Double or Nothing, not going to lie to you. Probably because they've actually built storylines for this show. But overall, I'm very excited, and I hope they deliver.